Cate Dunlap, the girl who traps her friends in a psychic torture chamber and erases memories like she's clearing browser history. Most people say she's a villain, others see her as a victim. But there's one scene that flips the entire conversation, and I think we've been looking at it all wrong. In this video, I'll break down the moments no one's talking about, including the relevance of her soldier boy fantasy, and how Andre's rejection might have pushed her straight into Homelander's arms. We're talking trauma, power, emotional labour, and the cost of being feared instead of loved. If you think you've already figured Cate out, you might want to hold that thought. To be able to understand Cate, we need to start at the beginning. Cate was 9 years old when she told her brother to go and never come back.
So he did.
That was the moment her powers of mind control through touch first manifested. Now that's a child's outburst, and I'm pretty sure that it's familiar to anyone with a sibling, but her parents didn't treat it like a mistake. They treated it like a threat. Instead of helping her understand what happened, they locked her away for nearly a decade. Gloves on, no touch, no friends, no real human contact. This wasn't parenting, it was containment, and Cate knew it. You can hear it in the way she speaks to Marie later. Your parents treated you like a show pony. That's not just anger, it's emotional clarity. Cate recognises the cruelty of being raised as a spectacle or a liability. She opens up to Marie to allow Marie to be able to forgive herself. And in reality, her comments seem hateful, but she is right. What type of parents shoot up their infants with experimental drugs in order to give them superpowers? She mentioned her parents wanted to make a quick buck, but Cate's prison looked quite glamorous. You don't see many of those cabins on council estates. Side note, it's interesting to me that her brother is still missing, just like Marie's sister. Two vanished siblings, two girls shaped by grief and guilt. Will they return in season 2? Did the siblings get Compound V? We don't know. Back to Cate's prison, I mean bedroom, as this is key to understanding Cate. Adolescence is when you learn how to connect, how to trust, how to be seen. Cate missed all of that. She entered Godolphin not as a rebellious teen, but someone who's never been touched without fear. Enter Dean Shetty, a woman who walks into Cate's life like a saviour, but operates like a handler. She gives Cate pills to suppress her powers, she removes her gloves, she tells her she's special, and Cate listens. Most people would be like, hey strange woman, maybe don't show up in my bedroom and hand me some pills, but Cate takes them without blinking. No questions, because she wants the powers to go away. She wants to be good. Shetty becomes a surrogate mother, and Cate lets her in, literally. Shetty's the first person Cate touches without gloves. Remember that, it'll matter later. So before we even get to the mind prison or the memory wipes, we have a girl who's been abandoned by a family, raised in isolation, and handed over to a woman who sees her as a tool. Cate's trauma isn't just personal, it's institutional. So Cate finally leaves her isolation and enters Godolphin. But she doesn't arrive as a rebel. She arrives medicated, obedient, and desperate to be good. This is the beginning of the good girl trap. Cate's entire arc is shaped by the belief that if she's compliant, quiet, and useful, she'll be accepted. She'll be safe. But the truth is, Shetty doesn't love Cate. She uses her. Shetty controls Cate's access to the pills, which means she controls Cate's autonomy. Cate becomes a surveillance tool. Her powers aren't hers, they're institutional property. We don't know the full extent of these pills. Were they just dulling the mind reading, allowing Shetty to maintain her act? Were they reducing all of her abilities?
All those pills ever did was make me numb. They weren't helping me. They were clouding me.
Have we not yet seen Cate's full potential? Or were they also suppressing part of who Cate is? And here's where it gets even darker. Shetty is the first person Cate touches without gloves. That moment of intimacy is not just physical, it's symbolic. Cate lets her in, she trusts her, and Shetty exploits that to weaponize Cate against the other supes. Imagine, she hasn't had physical contact in close to a decade. Part of this while growing up as a child. Not a single hug from your parents, friends. No wonder she sees Shetty as salvation when she opens her arms. Just before Shetty dies, under Cate's influence, she says, I love you. And Cate replies, I know. That line stuck with me. Cate saying, I know. Did Shetty grow to love Cate in her own twisted way? Or could Cate still not quite part with the idea that Shetty loved her? Because here's the tragedy. After her mother abandoned her, Shetty was the closest thing Cate had to a maternal figure, and that didn't exactly end well. Cate has been emotionally neglected, medicated into submission, and taught that obedience equals love, resulting in someone who doesn't know where her power ends and her trauma begins. Cate Dunlap doesn't throw punches. She rewires your brain. Her powers are intimate, psychological, and terrifying. Not because they're flashy, but because they're invasive. She can compel people to act even when she's gone. She can make you mutilate yourself, humiliate yourself, or forget who you are. When she snaps, it's graphic, it's brutal, it's imaginative rage. Cate's abilities are coded as emotional and manipulative, seductive, feared. She doesn't explode buildings, she erases autonomy, and that is what makes her terrifying. But the sickening twist is, Cate is also the victim of her own powers. There is of course the obvious, that they physically appear to be killing her. Eye bleeds, exhaustion, emotional collapse. Cate's powers are her kryptonite. She's powerful, yes, but she's also fragile, and that fragility is what makes her arc so tragic. She's used by Shetty as a surveillance tool and a way to manipulate others. Shetty doesn't have Cate's powers, but she still manages to get her to do her bidding. Cate's powers are symbolic of gaslighting, coercion, and emotional labour, and she's constantly on the receiving end. Then she is also violated by Rufus, who keeps her in a trance for 3 days and assaults her. It takes away her ability to remember and to consent. Her retaliation, asking him to repeatedly hit himself while saying,
Jumanji.
Did she just come to that on the spot, or was she silently plotting her revenge for a long time? And if so, why didn't she take it sooner? Even her telepathy is a curse. Her friends get angry when she reads their minds. But how much control does she really have? Is she doing it intentionally, or is it just noise she can't shut off? Reading minds sounds fun in theory, but would you really want to hear every unfiltered thought about you? Especially when you're already feeling shame. Every judgment, every insecurity, every betrayal. It would drive anyone insane. Because here's the thing, even when she's trying to understand people, she's punished for it. Kate's powers aren't just dangerous, they're isolating. Not only that, but she struggles to articulate how she is feeling, to get them to listen, and yet she is forced to listen to their unsolicited thoughts. So before we label her as a villain, maybe we should ask, what happens when your greatest strength is also the thing that breaks you? Cate Dunlap also wipes memories. At first she's convinced it's kindness, later it becomes self-preservation, but every time she does it, we see her react with sadness. She's not numb, she's breaking. Golden Boy, when he asks for his memories to be wiped, she refuses and insists he grieves. She doesn't erase his pain, she wants him to feel it, to process it. That's not manipulation, that's care. Okay, I know that this is kind of twisted as she knows Sam isn't actually dead, but she must think it's kinder for him to think that. However, later, when Sam asks Kate to take away his feelings, she does it without blinking. Did she regret not taking away Golden Boy's pain? Or maybe she thought Sam would be easy to manipulate? Maybe she wished so hard that someone would take away her pain that she chose to take away Sam's. There's a key point to mention here, and that feelings aren't just negative emotions. They're of course love, joy, hope. There will no doubt be big consequences for this in season 2. Patrick Schwarzenegger isn't returning for season 2 and he acted as Sam's conscious, so this will tie up nicely. But does Kate really need someone with no feelings aligning to her? Anyway, before we judge her for wiping memories, maybe we should ask, what does it cost to be the one who always makes things easier for everyone? Now we get to the scene that made everyone turn against Kate, the mind prison. Her friends are trapped, memories attack them, they're terrified, and the general consensus? Kate snapped. She punished them. She showed them who's boss. But when I watched it, I didn't see a trap. I saw a mirror. Kate already had confessed everything, her trauma, her manipulation by Shetty, her guilt, and her friends still looked at her like she was radioactive. So she did what she does best. She touched them, not to erase, but to reveal. Inside the mind prison, they don't just see Kate's memories, they see their own. Jordan relives drugging Golden Boy to gain Brink's approval. Andre sees himself sleeping with his best friend's girlfriend. Kate didn't just show them her pain, she showed them theirs. And they couldn't handle it. Kate held up a mirror and they flinched. She showed Marie her darkest memory, the thing that initially bonded Marie with Kate. And Marie understands this, and at this point, she still wants to forgive Kate. But then, of course, the memories start attacking, it's violent, surreal, overwhelming. But I am going to make a bold claim here, and I don't think Kate meant for that to happen. She was emotionally overloaded, her powers were spiraling, and when you're an empath with no outlet, no support, and no control, this is what it looks like. Soldier Boy explained that if Kate died, they would all die whilst in her mind. Why would Kate take such a risk just to hurt them? Maybe she was just desperate for them to understand. Then when they are out, she makes Shetty reveal her twisted soup virus plan, and the group still rejected her. Admittedly, killing Shetty probably took it a step too far, but she was probably a little annoyed that they thought Shetty was worth saving. Yet they still seen Kate as dangerous, manipulative, beyond redemption. But maybe they were just afraid of seeing themselves. So what do you think? Was this the mind prison, Kate's way of punishing her friends, or is her latest attempt to be understood? Then of course, she breaks into the woods. She frees the prisoners, and for a moment, it feels like redemption, like she's finally using powers to save people. And here's the haunting symmetry. Kate lost her brother in the woods. She told him to leave, and he vanished. Now years later, she turns up in a twisted version of the woods, not to lose someone, but to save them. But the rescue spirals. Kate doesn't just liberate the students, she riles them up. She tells everyone to fight back, and they do. Brutally, they launch a full-scale attack on Godolking, killing every non-soup they can find. This is where Kate's empathy curdles into rage. She wanted to protect the vulnerable, but she ends up weaponizing them. And that's the tragedy. Her rescue mission becomes a massacre. And let's be honest, she did take it a bit far yet again. Kate, you might need to throw me a bone here. I'm trying to be on your side.
Eat your own fucking hands, you monster.
Right.
Never mind. During the massacre, Kate reaches out, literally. She extends her hand to Andre, and he doesn't take it. This is the moment, the emotional tipping point. Kate has confessed, exposed her trauma, shown her friends their own complicity, and still, she's treated like a monster. Andre's refusal isn't just personal, it's symbolic. He represents the group's moral high ground, and when he can't bring himself to take Kate's hand, it confirms her fears. That no one will ever see her as anything but dangerous. We know from Soldier Boy that she really loved Andre, and he seemed like he might forgive her, but when she needed the connection, he couldn't go through with it. So she turns, not because she wants power, not because she wants revenge, but because she's done trying to be good, trying to be loved. If people see her as a monster, then why not become one? And then what does she then do? But reaches for Team Homelander, the one person who doesn't fear her, who doesn't flinch, who doesn't ask her to apologise for what she is. Now, is that acceptance real? Probably not. Homelander is unstable, manipulative, alive and terrifying. But to Cate, it feels like safety, like recognition, like finally being seen.
Anything you need, Homelander.
And here's the question. What would have happened if Sam didn't tackle Andre? Would he eventually have taken her hand? Would Cate have mind-controlled him to her side? Or would he have grounded her, reminding her who she was before the spiral? Because all Cate wanted was someone who didn't fear her, and instead, she got Homelander.
Whoa.
Before we get on to the final Homelander question, there's one detail in Cate's backstory that is often glossed over, but it is revealing. During her 9 years of isolation, Cate developed a sexual fixation on Soldier Boy. He became her imaginary friend, her protector, her fantasy. Now, Soldier Boy is toxic masculinity incarnate. He's violent, narcissistic, and emotionally stunted. But to Cate, who had no real human contact, no affection, no guidance, he was safety, validation, a masculine figure who didn't fear her. This isn't just a crush, it's a coping mechanism. Cate's sexuality was shaped in a vacuum molded by media and desperation. She didn't learn intimacy, she learned projection. And that fantasy matters, because when Cate reaches for Homelander, she's not just choosing power, she's chasing the same illusion. A man who sees her, accepts her, and doesn't flinch.
Boys, they come and go. But she always comes back to a little pillow talk.
But Soldier Boy was never real, and Homelander, he's worse. The thing is with Cate, it isn't just that she's powerful, it's that she's emotionally starved. And when you've been denied love for that long, even monsters will look like saviours. So now Cate's aligned with Homelander, and the question everyone's asking is, could she actually defeat him? Let's be honest, Marie Moreau is the obvious contender. She survived a full optic blast from Homelander and lived. Her blood manipulation powers are expanding, and Gen V's creators have teased that she might be the key in taking him down. Then there's Ryan, Homelander's son. Same powers, same potential, but emotionally, he's still a child. His arc is slow burning, and fans are divided. Will he become his father's downfall or his mirror? Could he even emotionally survive killing both of his parents? And of course, Billy Butcher, the man who hates soups more than anyone, but became one himself. After dosing with Temp V, Butcher gained laser vision and super strength, but it's his moral ambiguity that makes him dangerous. He might not beat Homelander in a straight fight, but fans believe he'll be the one to orchestrate his downfall. But Cate is different. She's not physical, she's not tactical, she's emotional, psychological. She doesn't break bones, she breaks people. Her powers destabilize identity. She can erase memories, rewrite intent, trap someone in their own trauma. And if Homelander has one weakness, it's his fractured psyche. But here's the catch. Homelander is paranoid, he doesn't let people get close. Even Victoria Newman couldn't touch him. And Cate, she's not exactly subtle. Her powers cause eye bleeds, emotional overload, and visible strain. She'd have to get close, stay calm, and survive the backlash. Unless she's already playing the long game. There's a theory that Cate could be a double agent, that her alignment with Homelander isn't loyalty, it's survival. She's inside the system, gathering intel, waiting for the right moment to strike. And if Gen V Season 2 is setting up the boys Season 5, the final season, then we could be on the brink of a redemption arc. Imagine Cate hearing Homelander's thoughts, his insecurity, his rage, his fear. It wouldn't take long for her to turn against him. Or what if Vought has been hiding her brother and she finds out? Or what happens when she finds out that Andre hasn't made it? Any of these revelations could be the emotional detonator that flips her allegiance and brings her back to Marie's side. Because Cate doesn't win with brute force. She wins by understanding people, by getting inside their heads. And if she turns that empathy back on Homelander, if she becomes the mirror he can't escape, that could be lethal. And having one suit take him down wouldn't feel satisfying. It would need a team up, a reckoning, a conversion to power, strategy, and emotional clarity. Maybe Cate's redemption won't come from defeating Homelander, but from choosing not to become him. So where does that leave Cate Dunlap? She's been abandoned by her family, manipulated by her mentor, violated by her peers, and rejected by the people she tried to protect. She's not just a villain, she's not just a victim, she's a mirror, a soup who forces everyone, including us, to confront the cost of power, trauma, and the need to be seen. So what do you think? Did Cate choose chaos or compassion? Is she Homelander's weapon or his undoing? One thing is clear, Cate Dunlap isn't done, and if Gen V Season 2 gives her the redemption arc she deserves, or the reckoning she's been building towards, I'll be here to break it down. Drop me your thoughts in the comments. Did Cate deserve rejection or redemption? Was the mind prison a trap or a mirror? And if you want to see how this all unfolds when Season 2 drops, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time.